I wasn't in love with the first Joker movie, and I love musicals. So technically this movie was made for me, right?
Copyright disclaimer.
Ugh. I was gonna jokingly say the Lady Gaga movie, but that is not true. Last week, I did a video about Lady Gaga's new album, Harlequin, which is a companion album to the latest movie that she does indeed appear in, Joker 2, or Joker FOLIE DEUX. I was interested in seeing the movie mostly because of Lady Gaga, and also I wanted to give it a fair shot. If you haven't seen the video, go check it out. I really liked the album. I've liked the idea and the pitch of Lady Gaga's Harlequin continuing the Joker story. I feel like the internet is very aggressive in a lot of its feelings, right? I feel like there's people who are like, I hate this, burn this movie to the ground. And there's people who are like, it's perfect, it's flawless. The people who don't like this just don't get it. I'm kind of in the middle. It's almost like, for me, it's like a marketing angle. I feel kind of just tricked. Like, I didn't put the Joker in this thumbnail and then talk about The Wild Robot, which, if you haven't, consider checking that out. I liked it a lot. Even if I walk away not liking the movie, but enjoying seeing Gaga do more things, as a fan of her music, and I've done a bunch of videos about her in the past, that would still be a win. I feel like I didn't even get that. I liked so many ideas in it. I was actually intrigued to see it be a musical. And then when the Harlequin album dropped, oh, it's a lot of like jazz standards. Oh, it'll be really interesting to hear some of these songs reimagined in this setting with these characters. And I feel like it just didn't commit enough to the musical numbers, and it definitely didn't commit to Gaga enough. Even just for the marketing alone, like the trailers had so many scenes with Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn that just aren't in the movie, to the point where I'm like, well then what's the point here? What happened here? Editing Bill here saw this photo of a kiss that wasn't in the movie, and cool. No, that's totally cool. That's totally, yep. Oh, it didn't fit the vibe, did it? Okay, no, that's cool. You don't get to say that word. Vibes is my word. That's our word. Vibes is no. You don't get to say that word. Cool, man. If I had known this was out there when I made this video, my energy would have been a lot less calm. Anyway, and it seems like the people who were there to see more Joker also didn't get what they wanted. It just felt like I couldn't commit to anything, to the point where I'm questioning the studio. It's Warner Brothers. It's the Warner Discovery. I wouldn't be opposed to blaming the company. I wonder if it's also the edit. It feels like there's just so much missing. End of the day, if I'm thinking about that more than the story, that's already a huge problem. I do my best to try to look at things without worrying about the meta around it and the studios and the executives and blah, but now I'm just like, what happened here? Like, I feel tricked. And like, I saw the movie at a theater at a mall, and as I'm waiting for the movie to start, I'm wandering around the mall and I realized there's no Joker crap at like Hot Topic or Spencer's. There's no costumes at Spirit Halloween. There's not like a destructive amount of merchandise, and like, I don't know how to describe that. It's like you don't want to capitalize your capital in capitalism. Like, it felt weird. It feels like a lack of investment. Could be an integrity thing, but again, it's David Zanislav's, I don't forgot his name. David Z. Like, I laughed at the Harvey Dent reveal, both of them. I just felt like it couldn't commit to anything. It felt like it didn't want to be taken seriously after a certain point. I've been seeing a lot of people saying, oh, musical in a negative way, and I'm like, there wasn't enough. I felt like we just got chunks of the musical numbers and they couldn't remove them completely because they were too expensive, or it's, if you take those out, Lady Gaga's not even in the movie for 10 minutes. There were so many cool ideas. My favorite musical number, the Joker, the Joker, if you see it in the trailer, he has the mallet and he's attacking the judge, and Lady Gaga's got the smile on her face. And it was really well done. It was really interesting and cool. And yet when we start to deconstruct Arthur in this movie, it's weird to sit there and later act like he didn't have these violent thoughts. Oh my God, what is happening there? Please stop. If you're like me and you wanted to see Lady Gaga, wait till it's on streaming or someone makes a compilation of Gaga scenes. Listen to the Harlequin album. You'll have a better time. I didn't see The Flash. It reminds me of The Flash, where I heard people saying Michael Keaton Batman was the best part. Wait until someone uploads a compilation of the scenes with Batman and just watch that. And that's kind of my advice here. I guess apparently she's only in the movie a total of like 33 minutes. 3's a magic number. In a 2-hour, 20-minute movie, and she's so good. Her and Joaquin Phoenix were so good together, and those scenes were so well crafted and well shot and well executed, and there's like, it's so unsettling. You don't really know who's in control here, what people want. Like, it's so captivating to see them interact. That was the core of the movie to me. Like, that's its own story. It feels like we Frankenstein monsters two movies together. It's so weird sitting here going, I guess this should have been a bit of a trilogy. Like, I would have loved to have seen a Harley Quinn movie where Joaquin Phoenix's Joker shows up and still ended in the same way, with more information, more setup, more pacing to explore some of these heavy themes. I couldn't help feeling like the whole movie wanted to separate Arthur from the Joker. Even at the very beginning with the animated short, which I really like the style of, it started to introduce the idea of the Joker and his shadow. The shadow was the one with the makeup on. The shadow was the one doing the Joker stuff. A clear distinction is being set. And while exploring that, it just started to read to me as a lack of accountability narratively. Even when we have his legal defense trying to go for the split personality element of it. Their words, not mine. This is a period piece, and I felt like it did engage with that lack of information, that toxic way of looking at mental diagnosis. I don't know the kind words. Forgive me. It's very true to that time period, and it also felt like it wanted me to feel like an insanity plea, a mental hospital as opposed to a prison was the right thing for him. If he really is so cleansed and removed from the Joker now, even if we look back at the series of events in the first one, once he stops getting therapy and stops taking his meds, which yes, the system failed him in that way. Those services were being taken away because of government budgeting. Without those services, he becomes the Joker. I just couldn't put my finger on if we were supposed to be hopeful that the legal team could get him that plea or not. Like, it felt like I couldn't follow the prisoner system in this story. I also couldn't tell you if the lawyer trying to get the insanity plea was in the right, had his best interest or not. I couldn't find anyone to root for, because sorry, Arthur Fleck also killed people. Like, I didn't see a world where he's exonerated, but I was kind of waiting for a world where the case gets thrown out, the mishandling of it on the police side, some sort of technicality got him out, and even he doesn't want that after a certain point. Something. I understand wanting to illustrate how flawed our systems are, and I really appreciate attempting to do that. I just feel like you could have done a lot more if, again, it was like, oh, it's a mistrial. You still could have had this story. If anything, it would have been fascinating to see him terrified of getting out. There were so many little things that I liked. I liked the performances a lot. I liked seeing those scenes where Joaquin Phoenix is like trying to get the Joker laugh to go and it's just not happening. The interview going wrong and the way he snaps, and it feels like the Diet Coke version of what happened at the end, the first Joker movie. I liked all of those moments. Traditionally, the dynamic between the Joker and Harley Quinn is that the Joker manipulated his therapist and like she falls in love with him. And it was so fascinating to slowly see that turn and realize, oh, she's manipulating him. This Harley Quinn, Lee, she wants Arthur to keep being the Joker. Like, it was so interesting to see, and I wanted more of that. Oh, wait, she's lying and checking herself out. Oh, she's still a therapist. I was waiting for she's going to be a witness for his defense or his prosecution, or she's going to be a juror, or one of the jurors is a Joker follower, something. And it's a bummer because, like, it's such an interesting idea, and I like those twists on it. And it just kind of didn't go anywhere. We're missing moments where she's like, in the actual, like, the costume and the red jacket and stuff. Her final scene felt like an accident or an oversight or a line change to go, oh, you cut your hair, because her hair was different in the final scene. And like, she does such a good job. Like, I was so just butthurt. I'm like, these are really good scenes. And I've even seen interviews where Todd Phillips is saying that these are really good scenes. And I'm like, cool, why'd you cut half of them out? Or did someone make you? And that's a whole nother part of this movie that drives me nuts, is it's like, he stuck the middle finger to the fans. No, he's sticking the middle finger to the studio. And I'm like, both are bad. If either one of those are true, middle finger back at you, dude. Like, all you did was rile people up. I don't think someone who went in going, the Joker is me, and walked out going, what was that musical crap? If you're gonna make those people angry, they're not gonna listen to another perspective. who are you helping? And if you're sticking it to the studios, a box office flop isn't gonna stick it to the executives. They're just gonna lay off more people. Who does that help? So I don't want to engage with those narratives in good faith, but I do want to add that counterpoint to it doesn't help anybody to do either of those things. So I can't rationalize that realm of thought. And I don't agree with either of those things. I don't think that's what happened. I'm just trying to kind of counterbalance those thoughts right now. It could have just been, oh, I want to make a musical. It's harder than you thought it was. And this isn't a reflection on the editor, but like, I just feel like the bigger edit just was missing too much stuff. And again, I'm like, was it a marketing decision? If we keep it at 3 hours, that's less times you can screen it a day. That's less money. Time is money. You know, like what was the decision making here? It's frustrating. And it sucks because like you did set yourself up to say something. And I feel like if we're going to go for what this movie says, it kind of just says the same thing as the first one. But then I feel like it starts to kind of backpedal. It's no longer we live in a society. It's we live in a response to a society. It feels a couple steps removed. If it's the system is corrupt, explore that more. A throwaway scene of the different forms of abuse, I don't want to see it. The physical abuse turned into a different form of abuse. And the way that Joaquin Phoenix is delivering this like completely dissociated moment, that's such an important thing to talk about, let alone expanding it to the point of view of a male character. Like that's so important. And it feels like it's just kind of tossed to the side. I don't know. I don't know what the solution is there. The greatest scenes in the movie that don't have Lady Gaga, where he's talking to Gary, the clown that was kind to him in the first one that watched him commit a murder, seeing him break down, seeing him say like, you never made me feel small until that day. I never felt so helpless until that moment. The way the movie plays out, Gary's testimony sets him on the path. He starts to crumble. He starts to lose the Joker facade briefly. And it's the assault of the guards that pushes him completely into the Joker isn't real, I'm just Arthur. I feel like it should have been the other way around. Like we even talk about him like taking his meds. He insists to Lee that he stopped taking his meds. And I believe it in the first one because he lost access to his therapist and he was also saying the dosage wasn't enough at the start of the movie. In this one, I don't believe him. I think he's lying. I think he's still medicated, but we don't get that information. There's almost too much ambiguity. And when you're doing so many like challenging topics like this, too much ambiguity, it gets lost in the shuffle. I couldn't stop laughing when Harvey Dent falls and oh no, half his face is burnt. It's almost like he has many faces now. It's so distracting. It's so gratuitous. One of my favorite things too was the line about like, hey, if you're gonna wear your Joker face paint in the courtroom, don't turn this into a circus. And he just gestures at the camera. And there's even a throwaway line about how this is like the first time a murder trial is being put on TV. It's never brought up again, so I guess that's on me for going, oh wow, that's cool. I was waiting for like there's Joker followings happening in other cities and other places, and like it's dangerous to do this. And like I feel the desire to have a commentary on how we treat and sensationalize news and media and true crime. There's reference to like a bad TV movie, and I really liked that. And I'm like, can I get like a scene from it? Can we make that instead? And then to like suddenly retcon the mom's character was very strange. The testimony that was given from the not love interest in the first one implies that his mom made fun of him and like called him happy as a joke. And I'm like, what are we doing? Stop that. Because if we're going to talk about the mom, what's the deal with the picture signed TW where he says he likes her smile? And speaking of smile, I need to regroup. I'm rambling so much. I like the idea of the ending. I feel like how we got there was just constant like muddy nonsense. It was just so muddled. And right as I liked the ending, they took it a step too far. And I feel like now everyone else is taking it too far. I don't think the idea is Heath Ledger's Joker killed Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, and that's how he became. No. First off, Heath Ledger Joker had no criminal record. Also, it makes no sense timeline-wise. Like, Heath Ledger Joker, rest in peace, he would have been, what, like 50 or 60 if we're following this timeline? So that already just makes logistically no sense. It's like, okay, so are you doing fan service and you're an idiot? Or is the idea that the next Joker, what the audience wants, what Harley wants, she's a stand-in for the audience, right? She's a super fan of the Joker. She's a stan. She has tried to stan the music of the Joker. Is this the Joker that people seem to want. In the moment, it just felt so ridiculous that I'm like, did someone make you do this? This is the Joker that inspired the Jokers, yes. And it's so frustrating because there's so many things I liked. I can't help advocating for more. Put back in the scenes that are missing. Release the Gaga cut. And even as I joke about that, my mind instantly takes me to, is that what they want me to do? Oh wait, you didn't like it? Oh no, well, I guess we could make another cut of the movie and charge you to see the same movie twice. Are they playing the long con, I guess is my question. Would that work? I guess out of curiosity, that would get a second movie ticket out of me. Did we inadvertently show Warner Brothers, we'll watch the same movie twice. Give us 2 edits of the same movie and we will watch that. Whether it's on streaming and you get subscribers or you get watch time, time spent away from YouTube, hi, like and subscribe, or time spent away from Netflix or whatever, that's time gained for HBO Max. Is it a box office thing? After everyone says that it's so bad, oh wait, now it's better now. Go watch it again. This one's better this time. We've replaced the guns with walkie-talkies. I like the ideas. I like about half the scenes. I like, about an hour out of this 2-hour movie. And even now, I feel like I barely talked about the damn movie. There's a big plot point in the first act of the movie to fire his attorney, yet we never go back to, well, what did the lawyer want? Was the lawyer actually on his side? Was she sympathetic? Was she trying to make a book? Was she trying to make a name for herself? Was this a public defender who's just trying her best? With no clear options, with no clear path, it just felt like just a lot of meandering. Speaking of twos, the Deuce, Rock Me Sexy Joker. I felt like Steve Coogan's interview was self-centered and one-sided and trying to sensationalize the story of the Joker. That was an example of someone like, yes, using him. Harley Quinn became an example of someone using him. And then I was sitting there going, wait, so was the attorney actually had his best interest at heart? I feel like it makes the issue almost comical if everyone's just twiddling their evil mustache and using Arthur or the Joker for their own gains, right? Whether it's the media, the guards that abuse him, but also take advantage of his celebrity status, or like the one who wants to like sell his signature after he dies. It kind of becomes too comical, too one-sided. It almost feels like a farce. I just feel like it fumbled so hard. And again, that's coming from someone who like didn't love the first movie, but like didn't hate it. And someone who loves musicals and loves being a little more experimental, was excited to see Gaga in it, was intrigued by, she's manipulating him. That's different. This is nothing like the comics. I was so excited for all those things. Then I felt like I just kind of got tricked. It's so hard trying to like illustrate my thoughts and talk about it, because I feel like all my thoughts are just things that are just like what ifs, fanfics, theories, things outside of the movie. But that's all I could think about. I felt like we never really got anything from Harley Quinn's perspective anyway. Like it just felt like the musical part of it was like discarded or like backpedaled a little bit. And also, sorry, not sorry, I loved how, I don't want to say bad, but like how character first Joaquin Phoenix's singing performance was in this movie. It just feels like a regular person is singing, and especially a regular person going through all of these extreme circumstances. It gives everything an eerie, personal, organic feeling to it. I really liked those choices, and I didn't like this movie. I want to know what other people think. I just also, it's the internet. Like, I hate talking like this or talking about things that I don't really care for, because I feel like I'm taking something away from someone, which shouldn't be the case. What I think shouldn't matter that much. This is just something to think about, something to listen to. I feel like maybe you did too many crimes in the first one to justify this kind of story. I feel like if we're just looking at what happened on the train, I feel like then this kind of conversation makes sense. The TV show part of it, I can't see it with this light. I wrote Arthur Dent. Including Harvey Dent was just kind of silly. I can't take it that seriously. Harley Quinn being the Joker's therapist would have been cool. Yeah, I just feel like there was just this looming Harley Quinn was the villain in this Joker movie. And I'm like, that would have been really cool to have like felt. Instead, it felt more like she was his victim. I liked the idea of like using her as like a devout follower of like insert, serial killer here. I felt like that was like really grounded and organic and an interesting way to like keep this comic book story more realistic, a little more grounded. I liked that. It just didn't really go anywhere. And again, it felt like she was the victim at the end. And I'm like, she perpetrated crimes. It was weird. Again, it felt like just backpedaling. Here's an idea, never mind. Like, I loved the scene of them in solitary confinement together. The justification around it, it's like, well, this is a corrupt place. I think she did like do a little something for the guard so she could go see him. And then like, oh, I'm pregnant. And I was like, there's a chance it might be the guard's baby. I don't know. But oh, she was lying. And I'm like, okay, like cool. There's so many cool shots in this too. And most of them are just in the trailer. I loved the smile on the glass. And then again, foreshadowing what's going to happen here, he has to like move into the smile and then force himself to make the matching smile. I thought that was really cool and clever. There's really cool shots in this. There's really cool things, but like liking a couple of ingredients doesn't mean I'm going to like the dish. You know, it could be overcooked. It could be undercooked. It could be raw in the middle. I liked when he was his own lawyer for a while and like the different voices and stuff. You know, it was like just the right amount of like unnervingly comical. Like, do I laugh? He shouldn't be doing this, right? Like, what's going to happen? Like, I loved those little moments. Better Call Saul did it better. All the old folks like to hear the Bible be read to them before they go off to sleep. I like the idea that he was the catalyst. He's what inspired the Joker. Like, okay, cool. Ironically, the Joker isn't me. No, that is not a connection to the Dark Knight. And if it is, then I would find it very contrived, lazy, and bad. I feel like neglecting to expand on what the guards did to Arthur, and then suddenly he's snapped out of it. I feel like it was negligent, and I don't think that was your intention. I just didn't like how it made me feel. The way that he's laying down and stuff with his clothes being removed, it implies something. That's not something you should be doing lightly. That's just my opinion. I also felt weirdly like we were alleviating society's role in this. It just didn't have the same impact. Somehow we went from government funding to those guards are bad dudes. Again, overall, like, I'm not angry. I think everything I'm angry about is outside of the movie. It's that feeling of feeling tricked by marketing that makes me mad. The movie itself was fine. It was okay. There was some cool ideas. I just feel like it just didn't have that follow through, and it just left me very unsatisfied. I just wanted to kind of share my thoughts and see what people think. And again, you know, I want to start following up on videos more. I did the Harley Quinn album. I said I was interested in watching the movie. Here I am. But yeah, there you guys go. Those are just some of my thoughts and my general review of Joker FOLIE 2. I'd love to know what you think of Joker 2 in the comments down below. Please keep it civil. Please keep it kind. Let's be respectful of each other's opinions. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know this is a little different, but I'm tired of giving myself task paralysis and then I just don't upload a video for a month. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to talk about this or whatever, or just hang out, I'm streaming on my gaming channel that's linked in the description, Bill Chill Gaming. There's also my P.O. Box merch store if you want to support me, donate, find my secret Patreon if you want, or hit the join button for $1. And if you don't want to do any of that, you're helping out by hanging out. Remember to like, subscribe, ring the bell, check the settings, blah, blah, blah. You get it. In the description next to all the ways to support me, there's also a link there to a card for social awareness, mental health, crisis lines, Trevor Project resources, things like that. Should you or someone you know need them. Usually when I do videos that are more review style, I also have it streaming at home so I can like go back over it, take more clear notes. These are notes from watching it once from memory. So I'd like to know what people think of this format a bit. I hope to see you next time I upload or go live. Hope everyone's staying safe. Check to make sure you're registered to vote. Be mindful of others. Remember to take care of yourselves, please.